And if we can get to a point where we're just focusing on the Fed and the interest rates, that'll make it a lot easier to navigate that. And what I would mean by that is moving out of not all tech is bad, but your high growth, no profit stocks to things that actually transport and make things. So AT&T had pretty positive results this morning, Frank. You want to look at 5G, the fiber build out there. Knight Swift is a trucking company, logistics. They had solid earnings. You want to look at transportation there. The free low-hanging fruit is Berkshire Hathaway. No other company, in my opinion, is built for higher inflation or higher inflationary times. Mm-hmm. Just focus on those type of businesses. There's a handful I could rattle off here between food distribution. Have you ever heard of Spartan-Nash, Frank? You ever heard of that company? Mm-mm. They basically supply a lot of different grocery stores. During one of their conference calls, they were talking about how inflation is beneficial to them. Think about that. If inflation is beneficial to anybody, that's worth going down that rabbit trail. That's what we'll be doing a lot.
Banks.
Yeah, anybody with pricing power. Yeah. We've beaten this drum over a lot the last several months, but now we're actually here to say, hey, rubber meets the road is really silly, but to an extent, to get the point across, that's a positive because we've been warning about these situations. Now inflation is here, higher inflation is here. Yes, you make a good point, and it could subside, and it should in certain areas. But overall, this is the new normal, and that's transitioning into how we think about stocks and how we'll allocate investments.
Yeah, and guys, just for proof of this, we saw great quarters. I mean, we've seen a lot. It's a good separation, right? We're seeing companies that aren't getting it done, like the GEs and F5s. One of supply chain issues and things like that, and also one of inflation, right? So, but yet you saw Texas Instruments, amazing numbers, and then Microsoft, holy cow. And Microsoft comes out and $50 billion so they have $51 billion in sales. They beat the $50 billion estimate. But if you're looking across the board, listen to these numbers, guys, across the board. So usually if you have lots of segments like Microsoft, whatever, you're going to see, some kind of, maybe segment struggling or whatever. So Microsoft Cloud revenue, $22 billion, up 32%. That's in the productivity and business process segment, right? So they have three segments. That's one of them. Revenue rose 19%. That includes LinkedIn. Revenue rose 37% for LinkedIn. 365 Dynamics. Revenue rose 45%. Then they have the other division, Intelligent Cloud, and revenue rose 26%. You're looking at Azure, that's part of Azure, which is the revenue growth is 46%, which they said, well, it was growing at 50%, and this is the first time it's under 50%. That's massive. That's massive. That's a percentage. I mean, to constantly grow, obviously, as a percentage, your growth rate should be, it's going to slow eventually, but to see those numbers are incredible. Windows revenue rose 25%. This is every segment I'm talking about. Xbox content and services rose 10%. Search advertising revenue up 32%. The Surface up 8%. I mean, you check off every single box for this company and the recurring revenue coming in. Holy cow. And the discount as this thing is selling off, you can see why it's up 34% today. But this is the time where it's going to be a stock picker's market. You really have to look at a lot of these names. What's good? What's bad? You're going to see a separation, but we didn't see a separation on the way down. Everything got nailed. Everything. There was no place to hide, and that provides opportunity. You don't see that a lot in a lot of markets. This is providing a big opportunity. A lot of great names out there, unfairly punished. Now you have earnings season. 100 companies out of the 500 reported. So far, they've been pretty good. Still growing at 8% annually. That's what they're expected this year, which is great. But overall, we shouldn't be down as much as we are. And I think we're seeing that right now. There's just too many mispricings in the market. I think you're going to see, a lot of money go to that quality, guys with balance sheets and paying dividends and in the right growth areas. Make sure you're buying companies not just based on fundamentals and they're cheap because cheap companies get cheaper. Make sure they have a growth profile. Make sure they're in the right markets, like a Microsoft that's actually a good value, like a Best Buy that's selling products across all, AR, VR, smart homes, which is going to take off now that they have a new connectivity, that a partnership, an alliance, which I talked about the CES, if you watch the video, where Samsung, Amazon signed up. You have Google. So they're all going to be connected using this one technology where you could buy almost any single device out there and it's going to work. So you don't have to buy everything from the same company, which we know, you look at Samsung, their appliances suck, but their TVs are great. Just different products that work good for companies and others that don't. But now you could mix and match and put the Ring bell and put, shades from IKEA, whatever you want. The lighting from Philips and use Alexa and everything's going to communicate with each other. But, you look at Best Buy selling all these products, right, in growth markets.